The first step of aerobic respiration is called glycolysis. You know, glyco refers to sugar, and lysis refers to breakdown. So glycolysis is the breakdown of sugar. The sugar we're talking about here is glucose, which is the immediate substrate for respiration. In this process, glucose will be broken down into different products. So after being broken down into other products, it is going to release energy because there are a lot of energy trapped inside glucose. So this energy that's being released from this process of glycolysis will be used for making ATP by combining ADP and phosphate, which is already in the cell. So if you still remember from photosynthesis, there is one molecule that has the capacity of becoming other molecules, and it's the triose phosphate. So glucose is a 6C compound. It has 6 carbon atoms, and triose phosphate has 3. So glucose will first be broken down into 2 triose phosphate before any energy is released. Now, because this is a breaking down reaction that requires energy, so before any energy is given out, the glucose has to take in energy from the cell to break down into triose phosphate. If it doesn't break down into triose phosphate, it will not be able to turn into other types of molecules. So that's why energy is first needed to change glucose to triose phosphate. The triose phosphate would then turn into pyruvate. Pyruvate is also a 3C compound. When triose phosphate is broken down into pyruvate, energy will be released. So here, the energy given out in this reaction would be used by the cell to combine ADP and phosphate into ATP. Now, in the process of turning triose phosphate into pyruvate, some H atom is given out. If you recall, in photosynthesis, a carrier has to be present to carry this H. So in the cell, this carrier will be NAD, no P, and NADH will be used later by the cell to make more ATP. Now 2 ATP molecules are needed to break glucose into triose phosphate. And when triose phosphate turns to pyruvate, 2 NADH will be formed. Also, 4 ATP will be formed. So, as a summary, the amount of energy input into starting glycolysis would be 2 ATP. But after glycolysis, you have an output of 4 ATP molecules and also 2 NADH molecules. The NADH molecules can later be used for releasing more ATP.